Van Buren, the government is out to get me.
Mr. Jackson, sir, you're the president.
I know, but what use is a president when he was surrounded by his opponents? Those Calhoun supporters are blocking every decision I try to make.
Blame Montesquieu. He came up with checks and balances.
They will be the death of me, just like how they killed my wife. They will ruin me.
I can't help but notice, friend, you seem a bit suspicious.
I have plenty of reason too. My fears are not fictitious.
I don't blame you, brother. Politicians can be vicious. I don't mean to be officious, but here's a little scheme for my political machine. Call in your supporters and reward them with positions.
So what you're saying is that I should purge the opposition?
I'll be the magician, conjure up a nice transition that restores your jurisdiction.
Are you sure of that description? Such conviction, I have restrictions.
First I'll resign. Others will follow me in a line. Your pile of cabinets will decline and then...
Oh, I like the workings of your mind.
free your office from corruption.
Then I'll start the reconstruction.
If enough people leave, you can remove the whole cabinet and fill it with those who are actually on your side. And didn't you promise people jobs in the federal government in return for the political alliance?
Indeed I did. Thank you, Van Buren. As president, I shall be introducing the principle of rotation in office to this corrupt government of Whigs and wife killers. You, and you resign. You will be replaced promptly.
What?
You're fired.
You can't do that.
Since Van Buren and others have resigned from office, I can reorganize my cabinet as I so desire.
Fight me.
Bye. That was a clever idea you had, Van Buren. First, I'll finally be surrounded by my supporters. Second, the common man will be encouraged to participate in democracy since now they're aware that they can get a political position if they support a party. Third, this prevents a corruption that arises from holding office for a long time. There's a reason George Washington himself was only president for 2 terms.
I'd like to say that I agree, but sir, considering that I've resigned from office, I'm not sure if it's right for me to discuss politics with you anymore.
Don't worry, I'll appoint you as ambassador of Britain.
Nice. So Jackson wants to make Van Buren the ambassador to Britain.
It seems so. Well, the Senate has the final say, and I say that Van Buren is immoral and manipulative. Intelligence, virtue, merit, the things that allowed one to earn their position in the government have all been discarded in favor of simply being allied with the president. Because it's so hard to be friends with Andrew Jackson.
I mean, Jackson is insufferable. It takes some real effort to get along with him.
Good point, but you know, birds of a feather flock together. Martin Van Buren poisoned our federal government with that plan. He's just a sly fox who clawed his way into office through the talent of his own.
Excuse me, gentlemen, be gentlemen. I don't see the problem with us Democrats benefiting from our political win.
The problem is that if I belong to a political party, the only qualification necessary to hold office, the federal government will be filled with incompetent buffoons.
Corrupt, manipulative buffoons like Van Buren.
I believe I am obliged to defend Van Buren from these unfounded attacks. All he does is boldly preach what he practices, as the Democratic Party tends to do. When Democrats are contending for victory, they avow their intention of enjoying the fruits of it. If they are defeated, they expect to retire from office. If they are successful, as they claim, as a matter of right, the advantages of success. They see nothing wrong in the rule that to the victor belongs the spoils of the enemy.
Spoils, huh?
That being said, I vote in favor of appointing Van Buren to his position.
Well, I vote against it.
Would you look at that? It's a tie in the Senate. I wonder how I ought to vote. Let's see. Do I vote in favor of the man who degraded America, turned Jackson against me, and brought this principle of rotation in office to life? Such a hard decision. I vote against the nomination of Van Buren. Well, that was quite satisfying.
I bet.
Van Buren's political career is over because of my vote. It will kill him, sir. Kill him dead. He will never kick.
If that were true, I'd be pleased, although I fear that his supporters will not let the matter rest.
We'll have to wait and see. But he deserves what he got.
Van Buren and Jackson have just widened the rift between the two political parties. Our conflict is becoming more and more bitter by the day.
And who knows how long this new arrangement will last. We are powerless to stop it. It will last for as long as Jackson remains in office.
Longer still, if the Democrats continue to win the elections, we've seen that the principle of rotation in office actually has other supporters. William Marcy.
William Learned Marcy is almost as stupid a name as principle of rotation in office.
Filling the federal government with unqualified Democrats just because their candidate won the presidency? It's no principle, it's an immoral system.
Yes, a system. A dishonorable system.
I wish we had a better name for it. One that properly portrays its shady, corrupt nature.
I think I have an idea, but I'm not as silver-tongued as Van Buren. But listen, I've got a notion of a plan to set in motion. Do you know any Whigs who have some substantial devotion?
So many I can't list them.
We'll unite them in a mission.
No sedition.
Don't you worry, just to slide into position. With his lengthy admonition, Marcy gave us ammunition. To the victor belongs the spoils. His defense, it makes no sense.
His sentence did incur offense. He overlooked a flaw immense. The quotation has connotations, implications. In summation, spoils means brought and misbegotten.
Don't let that word be forgotten. We'll vilify his verbiage, distort it in the press.
The First Amendment, yes, God bless.
Have all the Whigs protest, don't let it rest, let's make a mess. If they know not what to say, it falls on us, Clay, to assist them. This is what you must relay, call the phrase the spoil system. And even if this institution lasts another 50 years,
It will!
our name will last for longer and we'll feast on Jackson's tears.